Hello. Today I wanted to go over this power bank I picked up on eBay, I think, for $5. Just as an extra purchase, actually, to get free shipping. So in the end, it actually cost me just $1 or $2. And there's probably just a huge amount of reviews on these already. But there were a few things I was wondering about, so I decided to take a closer look. So what I'm going to do is to open it up and examine a few components. And I found the best way to do that is to use a trusty guitar pick, if you have any laying around, and kind of just go around thing, open it up, pop it open. You don't really end up hurting it any. And then this one was glued in there. I've already kind of was able to remove some of the glue, kind of not too easily done. But let's see if we can get it out of here. Yeah, guitar pick will come in handy again. And one of the first things I noticed, and this is, PowerBank brand, I guess, with a little power on off symbol for the bank. And so the battery kind of comes out pretty easily, and you can use a little screwdriver if you have one, well you should, to kind of pry this component board out of there like that. And so then the guts, you have the old case, which is funny. I think these are scented somehow. I don't know why. Maybe they did a little survey and found that people wanted their power bank scented. And I think the scent comes from this little yellow thing. I left it in there. I can't smell it on the outside anyways. But the first thing I noticed about this power bank battery was that it appeared in pretty poor condition. It was all kind of scraped up, and this was not done for me. A lot of the plastic had kind of been scraped off. It's dented flat right here. It was just not in the greatest, the battery was not in the greatest condition. Dented flat right here. There's some old adhesive here. So, and this is a no-name battery to begin with. So, I mean, from that we can basically tell that this is not a new battery at all. This is a recycled battery that PowerBank used to build their banks. So you can tell these are done at, as low a cost as they can possibly manage. So, well, that's just the way it is. And we can see that this is kind of tack welded on here, and then so they probably were reusing this too, this tack welded portion, and then they just soldered this grounding wire onto their little circuit board here. And then it looks like they actually probably hand soldered this portion on. So yes, these are done at a cost, a very low cost. So, a couple things I want to cover. I want to see if the capacity is what they rated it for. And it was advertised to be a 2600 milliamp hour battery, lithium-ion battery, rechargeable. And, well, okay, maybe. And I guess that's all that it was, rated for. Didn't really tell you anything else about it. But I have done some tests and I can report back on a few features or lack thereof of this thing. Alright, so first off, let us desolder the battery. Oops. Here. And try to get this off. Okay. And then we can perform a few tests. Okay, so the first thing I wanted to do was to test the efficiency of the output here. So we have down here, hopefully that's in view, this is the output voltage and current right now. The output voltage is 5.14, the current is 0, and then here's the battery. Right here, the voltage, battery voltage, ooh, that's low actually. So it's probably not going to last too much longer. And then also the battery current. There's no drain on it. So let us increase that a little bit. Okay, so let's go up to a 1/2 amp draw out of the battery. So we're about there, which leads us to 0.27 amp output on the USB side. Okay, and the battery voltage is pretty low. I probably should have charged this first. But so far it's okay, so. Alright, let's go to a 1 amp draw on the battery. Oh geez, I'm gonna have to charge this, maybe. So that's giving us a 1/2 amp output. So it looks like it's only roughly 50% efficient, which, oh well, not yet, I can't say that. I'll have to calculate the wattage later. Okay, so 1 amp output. So this should be good for more. Let's go up to 1.5. Okay, 1.5. Oh no, it's going to cut out pretty soon, I bet you. 1.5, and we're getting 700 milliamps output. Let's try to go for 2. That's probably all we're going to be able to get. Okay, let's stay there for a minute. We're getting 1.3 amps output with 187. Oh boy, it's going to cut out pretty soon though. That's low battery voltage. Surprised it hasn't yet. Let's see what we can get out of this thing. Okay, so the most we're able to get out of it right now is about 1.5 amps out of the output, which is pretty good. Let's crank that back down there. Okay, so that gives us pretty good output. I mean, a 1.5 amp output, that's pretty good. And the efficiency I'll come up with in just a moment. Okay, and right now we are charging the battery. We can see that going in voltage wise, the battery is at 3.5 volts. And the current going in is 500 milliamps. Okay, and here's our voltage source right now, and we can see there's 5 volts going in at 500 milliamps. So it looks like the charger chip just knocks off whatever voltage there is to put in a constant current. So 3.5, 4.5, so it's knocking off 1.5 volts, so it's actually not that efficient. It's probably similar to other chargers. So, alright, with that we can calculate the efficiency of the charging chip also. So we should have the efficiency of the output and the efficiency of the input from the battery and to the battery. Alright, we're back. Still charging the battery right here. 500 milliamps. So quick calculation. The the circuit's actually pretty good. The output from the battery to the circuit to the USB, I calculated at about 85% at, a very almost tapped out battery. It's probably similar. So I would say probably about maybe between 75 to 85% efficiency, maybe 80 to 85% efficiency, depending on maybe how full the battery is. So that's actually pretty good, maybe even higher than 85%. So that's pretty good circuit here. It's warm. And then the charging efficiency, who cares about the charging efficiency really? It's from the wall, unless you're charging your battery bank with another battery bank. That doesn't have to be efficient, but that's anywhere from 60 to 84%. It's going to depend on how full the battery is. So it's just a linear kind of efficiency. When the battery voltage is low, it's going to be less efficient. When the battery voltage is high, it's going to be more efficient. So let's now have a little look at the circuitry behind this chip here. Okay. So pretty nice job, I think. Looks like a double-sided board, obviously. And then a few chips on each side along with inductor, diodes, some capacitors, resistors. But let's take a closer look at these chips just to see what we may be working with.
Now let's have a quick look at the circuit board and see what we can find out. From this first side, the USB output side, we can see a couple of LEDs. One is on when the battery is charging, and one turns on when the battery is charged, I believe. And we can also see several resistors, which I believe are resistive voltage dividers, which will put certain voltages on the data pins for the sake of charging Apple devices, I believe. And then finally over on the left we can see a controller chip, and I believe this is the battery controller charger chip right here. So let's see if we can find that. Alright, looks like this is it. It looks like, yes, it is a battery protection IC, and it is designed to protect lithium-ion polymer batteries from damage or degrading due to overcharge or discharge, or overcurrent for one-cell lithium-ion polymer battery-powered systems such as cell phones, or in this case, a battery bank. You can look it up for more information if you want. It's the DW01/G datasheet. Now let's have a look at the other side. This is the side with the micro USB input, and on this side we see a number of resistors, a diode, some capacitors, an inductor, and 1, 2, 3 chips. So let's see if we can find the first one on the left, on the upper left up here, the 8205S. Okay, so this chip is an 8205S, and it is a N-channel enhancement mode power MOSFET according to the datasheet, and it is going to be used most likely for power switching for the USB output. Now if we have a look at the next chip kind of right under the diode there, it is labeled I believe 1682T309. And if we have a look at the data sheet for this chip, it looks to be an isolation transformer chip. I'm not actually sure what this chip is used for in the circuit. It may be used in conjunction with the inductor is my guess. In what capacity, I'm not sure. So with this last chip, I wasn't able to find too much either. It looks as though it could be a PNP transistor. I'm not sure about that. So here what we have is the output from the power bank from a full charge to where the power bank shuts off because of the battery protection circuit. So we can see that it took an hour and 13 minutes and the output totaled 1262 milliamp hours, which isn't too bad, 1.2 amp hours out of the power bank. But as advertised, the power bank had a 2600 milliamp hour battery in it. And if we use these figures, 1262 milliamp hours at 85% efficiency, we would get around a 1500 milliamp hour battery. So really the quality of the batteries being shipped is probably not what you're going to get. You may get significantly less than that. They do look recycled from other devices. Still not bad for $5. The output I believe was around 1.45 amps. That's pretty good too. So you get, 1.2 amp hours out of a little power bank. So you could also upgrade the battery to maybe a 2 amp hour battery or a 3 amp hour battery, depending on what you can find out there and what will fit. So that is my review. Thank you for watching.